Siguro get the idea, can you kindly give us data on this, ano? Punta po lang tayo nung kay, what's her name? Naiiyak ako nung kanina kasi, pasensya na po yung sa chairman, mababa po yung aking buhay. So, ito si Lore Pasco. Andito ba si Lore Pasco? Si Lore Pasco. Kanina, she delivered a message. Kasi si Lore Pasco. Yan, ma'am. Kanina po kasi binabanggit niyo po yung mga anak po ninyo. Dalawang anak niyo po ba yung namatay? And recently also, one was mentioned na tatlo namang magkakapatid yung pinatay during the war on drugs, correct? And this incident that happened with your family, will you tell us that, kasi pinanggit po ninyo dito kanina, sinabi niyo to that hinaantay ko na lamang po yung ICC na mag-take over, wala na makitiwala sa justice system natin. And that's the reason why sinabi nyo, inaantay nila lamang po yung ICC to take effect or to take over of the case that was filed in the International Criminal Court.
Sa totoo lang po, talagang nawala na po kami ng tiwala. Kasi po sa tagal na 7 years na hong namatay yung aking mga anak. Hanggang ngayon po wala pa rin kaming hustisyang nakakamit. Kaya paano po sasabihin na kumbaga kailan namin makakamit ang hustisya. Kaya nga po kami ay dumulog dito sa inyong committee para po na tulungan po kami para ipurso po yung case namin na pinayal sa ICC. Kasama po yung lahat ng mga biktimang tinanggalan po ng karapatang pantao.
So, nakakaramdam po kayo ng you feel that justice will be served if the ICC will take over of this case. Is that what yun po yung gusto niyo na sabihin sa amin?
Yes po.
Kay Shira Escudero. Taga San Pedro City po, medyo ko to. Lugar ko to And medyo nagulat lamang ako na yung saan barangay ka sa San Pedro?
Buya ka.
Sa Kuya.
And I think you visited Kuya already.
Kinakabit ko kasi yung buya.
Alala ko.
Baka nadakaw ko kayo patay. Okay. Hindi, lagi ako dyan sa Kuya. But
Pastoral father niya.
I didn't reply.
Kung God, pastoral father niya.
Yeah, I know. Why I wanted to ask her, no? Yung patay, nalaman po lang ninyo at nalaman ninyo na naandun pala sa Mora at sa Angeles. Yes, Mr.
Diyan
Chairman.
na, nato po siya governor.
So, Shira Escudero, we know the feeling, of a person na namatayan tayo. Even my dad, when he died, I cried a lot of times. Even after a year, I was still crying. So much more that your brother, ay namatay because you don't know what's the reason why. Lucky me, I know the reason why my dad passed away. But you, hindi mo alam kung bakit siya pinatay. And that adds more to sa feeling that you are feeling right now.
Amen?
Di ba? So, would you agree with me na ganun din ang nararamdaman mo katulad kay Ma'am Lore na the reason why you're here because nawawala ka na ng pag-aasa sa justice system natin. Huwag naman sana.
Yung experience po namin, even if we know na possible nga na natukhang kasi yung police na rin yung nagbigay sa amin ng ideya na baka natukhang. Tapos nung panahon na yun, bago pa lang po yung drug war, di ba po? So hindi ko pa fully grasp ano ba talaga yung ginagawa sa tukhang. Tapos, pero di ba maingay na rin po yung kay Kian noon. September po yung kapatid ko. October yung kay Kian. So, at may reaffirm mo parang ano po siya sa akin na parang, ayun nga po, na eto pala, nangyayari pala talaga siya. It's really happening. Kasi nangyari po sa amin eh. Pero despite the fact na pakiramdam namin ay may involvement yung police, lumapit pa rin po kami sa San Pedro City Jail. Ano po kami?
Ano nangyari nung lumapit kayo sa San Pedro City Jail?
Naggawa po sila ng report na missing yung kapatid ko. Tapos po, ano po kami, hopping ng iba't ibang police station sa loob ng San Pedro. And plan na rin po namin, pumunta na rin po sa mga kalapit pa Cavite, yung parents ko, and plan na rin namin na lumabas pa ng South. Opo.
Is this a part of the written letter that was addressed to the Chief of Police of San Pedro City where the COP refused also to give all the documents? Can you kindly give us that information? Because I'm personally interested on the issue of the San Pedro City. Not because
We will
of
just check it,
not
Your
because it's a part of my district, but because I nearly cried a while ago when I was listening to her. So, Mr. Chair, isa na lang po ang tatanong ko na lang po ay tungkol po
Lalo yun, Kong Dan, gusto ko lang i-pursue yung question mo kanina. Hindi na nabanggit mo siya yung kapatid mo tinali ba o...
Nakasubsob po siya sa damuhan sa likod ng isang subdivision sa Angeles, Pampanga. Nakatali po yung kamay ng packaging tape, yung wrist po niya, pati yung paa niya, binte. And naka-packaging tape po, balot po ng packaging tape.
Naniniwala ka na pulis ang gumawa nun?
Based po sa evidence na nakita ng investigator doon, possible po na link siya sa police pero napakahirap pa rin po. Yung custody po kasi ng evidence ay hindi namin alam kung na-preserve ba o...
Anong taon po yan?
2017 po, tapos magbasyo rin po ng bala na nakahatid.
Hindi pa kayo ang Director General.
Apo.
Si Senator Bato pa din. Oh, okay.
Yeah, correct, Mr. Chair.
Senator Bato, di ba?
Yung bullet po, yung kalibre po ng bala is 9mm. Ang sabi po ng investigator ay police ang kadalasan na gumagamit ng ganong klaseng baril. Pero nga po dahil takot yung mga tao na magsalita nung una, may mga nagkukwento kung ano yung nakita nila. Hanggang sa dahil nga takot din po sila na madamay, napakahirap po mag-gather ulit ng evidences. And kami lang rin po yung nagpunta sa iba't ibang lugar, kumausap sa Pampanga, sa San Pedro, naghanap ng iba't ibang CCTV footage na suppose po ay ginagawa sana ng kapulisan. Pero di ba po, kahit na dismayado kami noong mga panahon na yun, sa kanila pa rin kami lumapit. Even nung pagkatapos ilibing nung kapatid ko, sinundo po nila kami sa bahay para kumuha ulit sila ng statement. Nag-submit ako ng lahat ng pwede kong isubmit ng information. Nakipag-cooperate po ako, umaasa na matutulungan nila kami, magagawa nila ng paraan. Di ba po, parang maimbestigahan nila. Pero ilang taon na po, wala pa rin nangyari. Yung mga taong involved po, pakalat-kalat lang sa community namin. Link din po sa
Hanggang ngayon.
Opo. And link din po sa kapulisan.
Tulad ng concern ni Kong Dan, dahil taga San Pedro ka, ako may concern din ako, pastor ang tatay mo. So, can we request yung tatay mong pastor maimbitahan dito?
I will try to ask po si Papa kasi for them po sobrang traumatizing na nung nangyari. And even si Mama, nahihirapan po siyang magsalita. Pag tinanong siya what happened, nahihirapan siyang magkwento. And si Papa, syempre po...
Is he still pastoring now?
Tumigil po siya ng ilang taon pagkatapos mamatay ng kapatid ko. Tapos bumalik na po siya ulit sa pagpipreach. And weeks ago po, may bininyagan siya. So tuloy-tuloy po yung pagsaserve niya ngayon sa church.
Tell him that Bishop Abate would like to talk to him.
I will tell him po.
And your brother is also a church worker.
No po. Teenager po siya noon.
How old is he during
18
that
po
time?
siya. Nung namatay, 18 years old lang po siya. And
Estudyante siya.
nag-work na po siya dahil nagkaanak po agad siya very early.
No bad record or whatever?
Wala po siyang bad record sa barangay and even sa police station.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chair, magdala na lang ako dito sa isang issue na lang.
Katulad kong dan isang kinausap natin na nadamay lang.
Hindi, yun na nga.
Nadamay lang, patay.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman, I wanted also nga sana to ask that victim na kung saan tatlo yung mga namatay na magkakapatid. And those deaths, 3 siblings during the war on drugs. I just wanted to ask sana yung kung nandyan po yun. Nandito po ba yun? Wala. Wala, no? Maganda sana natin makinsala. But going back to Mr. Manuel Mogato, hindi ako makaget over to sa I really wanted to find out kung to give us more information on these people na sinasabi that reward system. Kasi first time ko na dinig na itong war on drugs ay merong reward system. So you're trying to tell us, or to try to tell this committee that those killings of those people that victimized under the war on drugs were paid.
Iyon po ang sabi sa amin na
Ni General.
Ni General. ng
Ni
reward system.
General
Mendoza.
Mendoza. And during the time of General Mendoza, Manuel Mogato, sino ang mga right-hand man niya?
Kilala eh. Kasi retired na po siya. Nung
makausap siya?
Nung makausap namin.
At itong mga kapitan, nakausap mo, recently mo lang siya lang makausap? Or, kasi what
During that time,
I'm trying to point out, Mr. Manuel Mogato, kasi galing ko sa Reuters, alam mo, medyo pinagkakatiwalaan natin yan, no? So, what I'm trying to point out, maybe, nagkaroon siya ng change of heart, itong kapitan. He might be able to attend this hearing and to reveal something on this issue of the reward system that you are trying to tell us. Kasi kung talagang meron ganong klase ng mga police that is basing their killings on the payment that they are going to receive, kakaunti lang yan. Kung 6,000 tong taong to, na pumatay, kung namatay na 6,000 at ang pumatay dito ay 6,000 lamang, at meron tayong 220 policemen, ay nadadamay ang lahat ng police. And we have to reveal those people who are bad eggs of the organization. Because they're bringing down the whole of organization, and that is bad for the country. And that's the reason why we want it. Kaya dapat ako sama dito Naisip ko lamang magaling ka, Edgar. Nakikita ko. Can you kindly tell him? Tell him. Make a hero out of him. Make a hero out of him. Invite him in this Congress. Mr. Chairman, may we ask Mr. Mogato kung you have this strength?
Your Honor, yung pong information about the reward system galing po sa retired general. No? Ang basehan po niya ay kanyang meron siyang 17 na active duty PNP officers na nagsabi sa kanya. Ngayon, yung 17 officers, hindi po namin kilala dahil hindi naman niya po sa amin pinakilala. At yung kanyang reward system ay nasa report po niya. No? Ang report po niya ay binigay niya sa CPCP at that time, January
Report na binigay, sino po nagbigay ng report?
Si General po,
Binigay sa?
CPCP.
So, ano si Father, Father, kasama ba si Noel, si Bro Noel Gatchalian? Sa kanila ba binigay sa CPCP? Kasama ba sila doon?
Ay, di mga bishop po ata yung kausap niya
So, Bishop ang kausap ni General. General ulit, I forgot the name. Mendoza. What's the first name?
Rodolfo.
So, ibinigay niya sa mga bishop.
Saan po?
At sino anong pangalan ng bishop na pinagbigyan niya?
Hindi ko po maalala sino ang presidente ng CPCP noon, pero
What year was that? Nung nakausap si
2017.
General,
2017.
Can you kindly ask Comsec, can we direct the Comsec to find out who is the president, who is the chairman of the CPCP during that time?
We will find out and we will be calling.
And asking him, or kaya ma-invite po natin.
January po. January.
Gusto ko lang malaman if the former Director General Albriate knows about the reward system in the Philippine National Police.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, wala po akong idea doon.
Pero binabanggit din ng quota system. Which is actually a reward system. Quota system.
Yes, in fairness, Mr. Chairman, wala po kaming nakuhang quota when we were the commander.
Pero
Wala
meron
po kaming
quota system.
nakuhang instruction specifically, whether it's informal or formal instruction, wala pong ganun, Mr. Chairman. And may I just add po, Mr. Chairman, kung yung pong pinag-uusapan na 6,225 are all unsolved cases, baka pwede po nating matanong siguro also from the DIDM. I'm sure hindi po yung lahat na 6,225 cases na yon are all unsolved. I'm sure there are some that are solved pero meron pong death, no? Pero baka meron pong mga na-file na kaso, we can identify the perpetrators actually.
Yes. I think, Mr. Chairman, that is a good suggestion from the former Chief PNP, that yung 6,000 alleged victim of EJK, do you have a record? Kasi yung mga academe kanina, you have all the data, out of the 6,200 that was victimized, ilan na po dyan yung convicted, ilan yung sold, ilan yung pending?
Wala po kaming ganong datos, pero mayroon kaming porsyento na 66% nung sa record namin ay gagagawa ng pulis.
Yes, oo. And actually, 56%. Nakalagay ito sa...
66 po.
66% gawa ng PNP.
Pinatay sila lahat.
Yung pagpatay ay nangyari sa force ng operasyon ng pulis.
And
Kung Dan, I would say that Attorney Larry will know about that, no? But the more than 6,000, all of them pinatay yan.
Yes, Mr. Chair, that was the report actually of the PNP. In real,
Report ng PNP.
yes, the 6,000. That was the question. In fact, the question of General Albayalde will be answered by the PNP kasi they reported 6,200, Mr. Chair. They should tell us now to convince us na, oh, it's being investigated. However, Mr. Chair, the moment that the PNP will only say, oh, we believe in human rights, very statistical ang points dito, Mr. Chair. No anecdotal answer from the PNP is required about cleansing, about we need the statistics, we need the data. Matapit na, Mr. Chair, 6,200 from them. Galing sa UP, galing sa numbers, all numbers.
6,200 ang pinatay. Yun lang gusto ko.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
6,200 pinatay.
Pero ang tanong, Mr. Chair, imbestigahan ba ito? The PNP should know. If they want to convince us that they did in fact investigate. However, Mr. Chair, in paragraph 86 of the government's appeal to the ICC, kung basahin niyo yung appeal na yon, paragraph 86, the government admitted 52 lang ang naimbestigahan nila. That's why,
Hindi na solve.
correct, Mr. Chair. Kasi kung 52, kahit pa nga na-solve yung 52, that is still not enough, Mr. Chair.
I would like to ask any incumbent official of the Philippine National Police of the record that is being asked here, but it's being said by Attorney Larry.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
you stated a while ago that we invited the Philippine National Police, and he's not around, Mr. Chair. And therefore, he would have sent somebody. May we know from the different police officers who will be speaking on behalf of the Philippine National Police?
Is there any?
Sino ang representative niya? Para siya ang mag-direct ng mga
Hindi, sapagkat kung wala siyang representative, we will be asking him to explain. Bakit wala siya dito? But the thing is, even if he sent someone to represent him, he must be here. In the next hearing we're going to conduct, we demand that the Deputy, that the Director General of the Philippines be here. We will demand that.
Mr. Chair, for the meantime, Mr. Chair, may we request in relation to the question of the Honorable Actor that the representative of the PNP Director General be recognized to possibly answer the question of PNP Chief Albayalde.
Mr. Chair, I asked that question simply because the representative of the Chief PNP would know who would be able to answer the questions propounded by the other resource persons and by the members of this committee. Siya lang dapat ang magsasabi kung sino ang sasagot. Yun ang ano. So, that is why I asked for the representatives ng GPNP. I still have the floor, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, may I clarify on the query of Congressman Ako? We were on one. Kasi ang parang question natin sa PNP, how many were sold out of the 6,000 pages? Yung po ba?
No, tanong. Yun ang tanong. Ngayon, sino ang sasagot dapat? Appropriate na sasagot doon sa PNP officer.
Okay, Mr. Chair. Claro. Sige.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jensen, the distinguished body. I was designated as the team leader of this group for this meeting, and being the designated office primarily responsible for this hearing, sir. And I am limited within my designation as the Chief Human Rights Affairs Office, wherein monitoring of cases. However, our
Before you answer that,
service.
before you answer that, do you know the reason why the Director General is not here today?
I think he was attending another Senate hearing, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Regarding the matters in question, sir, our internal affairs service, having that motto proprio function in anything that involves killings or discharge of firearms when it comes to PNP personnel or any police operations for that matter, they have the data, sir, and our representative from Internal Affairs Service for this hearing can present the data, sir.
Go ahead. Sino po ang represent ang data? So at least, okay. Were you among those that took the oath? You did, okay. Go ahead. Please sit. Will you please explain yourself and your title in the organization?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and to the honorable members of this committee. I'm Attorney Jasper Paul Evangelio, current Chief of the Records and Package Section of our office. And it just so happened, Your Honor, that I am in possession of all the administrative charges filed against our erring PNP police officers. In fact, while listening to some of our resource speakers, I was able po to extract yung ibang po sa mga pangalan sa raw data ko. But for purposes po of, I believe that there's certain exceptions po. No? Kaya ang ipapresent ko po today, I already asked naman po for clearance, and ipapresent ko po, Your Honor, yung statistical data na kung gaano po karami yung administratibong kaso na na-file po laban po sa ating mga kapulisan. And with your permit.
But that was, we're talking about the EJK, we're not talking about the whole administrative cases that was filed on different cases.
As far as the Internal Affairs Service, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, is concerned, my only role for this particular hearing is to just present the administrative case. But with regard to EJK, Your Honor, I have no data concerning that, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, may I request that General Francisco take the seat?
General Francisco?
General Francisco, so that all the members and the resource persons will be on the same page. Could you please tell the members of this committee and the other resource persons, what is the protocol insofar as investigating alleged extrajudicial killings by law enforcers? Could you please brief us para malaman namin yung protocol talaga?
Yes, investigate yung criminal aspect. Sino nag-iimbestiga doon sa administrative aspect? Dahil alam ko, may protocol ito eh.
Yes, Your Honor. For the information of this committee, once there is a death or killing involved in any police operation, the administrative side of it will be taken over by the Internal Affairs Service or the motu proprio function of this service, while the criminal aspect will be taking care of the local police. In it, they may create an SITG, in the Special Investigation Task Group, Special Investigation Task Group, wherein CIDG is a member of it. Once this SITG conducts its investigation, and at a certain point in time, there will be no suspect, no update, it will be turned over to CIDG as a cold case. And the CIDG will pursue it until its completion or referral to the prosecution service. Now, we have also a record of police operations where suspects has been killed or died. And we have that record in our DIDM, being also the former director of the Directorate for Investigation and Detective Management. And I think my colleague who changed me has this record of those who died in police operations during this period.
General Francisco, I would think that you have been remiss with your responsibility as far as the statement of Attorney Nelly is concerned. Am I right, Attorney Nelly?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I know General Francisco from way back in his MPD days, and that's the point I'd like to throw in. First, Mr. Chair.
MPD, were you with the MPD before?
Yes, Your Honor, the former director of the Manila Police District.
When was that?
2020 to 2022, Your Honor.
Okay, that's not.
So, Mr. Chair, if I may. Mr. Chair, if I may continue. Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, the data were presented. The question to the PNP today is, so ilan ang naimbestigahan nyo? And we're talking of the IDM, CIDG, IAS. Ang question lang talaga ng mga pamilya ng biktima, anong criminal cases? Ang admin kasi madali lang yan eh. Pero yung criminal may patay eh. So, ulitin ko lang, Mr. Chair, under their rules of engagement, Section 154, it was in the slides, sinabi doon, pag may police operation at may patay, at inamin ng police na patay, pero self-defense, nandapan, ang rule, Mr. Chair, sampaan talaga siya ng kaso. Ang self-defense is a matter of defense sa trial. Hindi pwedeng sabihin, pumatay ako dyan, tapos sabihin ko lang may dumating na po, Neri, pinatay mo ba? Self-defense. Okay pala. No, kakasuhan talaga ako, Mr. Chair, first.
Pero ba sa tratado, hindi ba, General Francisco, kapag ang police na patayan, namang sitwasyon yan eh, the PNP suspension immediately?
No, sir. It will go to investigation. Due process will be observed, and if some suspension is necessary, we will do it. But, Mr. Chair, I told you a while ago that being the former director of the Directorate for Investigation and Detective Management, we have a record of those police operations that there is a death or killing involved.
Attorney Nelly.
Well, the rules require an inquest. An inquest is a criminal proceeding. Hindi siya admin. Kasi we've seen the reports naman na, may admin cases sa pamilya ng biktima, namatay yung 3 anak ko, tapos admin, reprimand, or... So yun ang problema. Ngayon, Mr. Chair, ito ang worrisome because the police cannot provide the data. Ang sabi kanina ng police, we are for human rights. the Human Rights Office, forgive me, ang concept ng human rights includes access to justice. If the Human Rights Office of the police doesn't consider access to justice as human rights, then hindi siya comprehensive human rights. Pag sinabi, ay, iyas kasi yan, di namin na. No, the Human Rights Office should be concerned that these people, Shera, Mrs. Codero, cannot access the documents. She cannot file a case in court. She has no evidence. A violation ng human rights yan. You cannot continue saying we support human rights, but ang daming nagtatanong. Secondly, Mr. Chair, what was actually mentioned by the Solgen was actually a freedom of information aspect. And it's in the EO2 that police investigations cannot be given parang absent approval kasi FOI siya. Exception siya sa FOI. So how can, ibig sabihin, Mr. Chair, if I may, very passionate here, that's a matter of policy. Policy yan from the Duterte administration na huwag yung bigyan yan. Yung mga pamilya na yan, huwag police investigation to eh. That is the second problem here. Because now, you cannot charge the family or wala kayo nagka-file ng kaso. Eh, minsan autopsy report, hindi makuha ni Attorney Chrissy. Thirdly, Mr. Chair, CHR ang humingi, i-FOI mo. I mean, why should the police FOI the CHR? This is a government agency. In fact, yung relatives of the victims, hindi dapat padaanan ng FOI yan. Anak niyang namatay eh. Tapos sabi, ito sa iyo po kasi hindi pwede. So all these things, Mr. Chair, lead to the, hindi niyo masisi ang mga pamilya ng biktima na mag-isip, hindi, kakutsaba kayo. Kasi binanggit ko yung 3-4 na instances na wala silang access. And the police, I'm very sad to say, you don't consider lack of access of the victims to police investigation, to documents, to the courts, to the justice system as not a human rights violation. Sabi nga ni Chair kanina, in fact, he thinks justice delayed. It's already injustice in itself. Ito, hindi lang ito justice delayed, this is justice denied kasi hindi ma-access ng pamilya ng CHR. And now ang Kongreso itself, a co-equal branch, will have to ask the President, pwede ba humingi ng kopya ng report ni Secretary Guevara? I mean, this is a plenary power of Congress and this involves human rights. I would like to think that the President will give in to the request of the House. What I'm just pointing at is, ganito ba talagang sistema natin? Pahirapan talaga bago makakuha ng dokumento. Even CHR, even Congress, former secretary cannot get these documents. So how much more the poor family si Nanay Leore? Can you blame them if they go to the ICC? Other than the fact that the President is immune from suit, kaya talaga hindi siya makasuhan dito. But just the fact, 52 cases have only been investigated no matter what you say. Even if in the subsequent report of the general who will come over, he will say 1,000 cases are being investigated or prosecuted. Mr. Chair, kulang yan. 6,200, 1,000 lang pinoprosecute. Then, if we cite anecdotal examples of Sikiyan na, you know, we can cite some cases.
Thank you, Honor.
Mr. Chair, if I may ask Attorney Colmenares, our former Attorney Colmenares, no? Yung sinasabi niyo pong 52 investigated cases, where did you get it?
From the government's appeal to the International Criminal Court. When the ICC denied that,
sa ICC,
gobyerno.
But it was rendered by the ICC.
No. When the ICC, Mr. Chair, said na tuloy ang investigasyon, the government appealed. Please huwag yung ituloy kasi nag-imbestiga naman kami.
And they said that we have 52 investigating cases.
That's what we saw, Mr. Chair, in paragraph 86 of the appeal. So yun lang, Mr. Chair, in short, I think it is incumbent on the PNP to provide the data Kasi hindi talaga mag-produce yan. Kahit ako, abogado, imagine, CHR cannot even produce it. Sila lang talagang may hawak dito. And the fact that it has been going on since 2016 until now, that is tantamount to a lot of injustice, Mr. Chair. And now that they cannot even answer a question, which is good for them sana. If they say 6,200 killings, imbestigahan namin 5,375. But even that, they cannot answer, Mr. Chair. It really shows na there is, napakita ko kanina sa slide ko, a lack of interest to investigate and prosecute, Mr. Chair. Salamat, Mr. Chair.
Last na ako. Tapos na po ako. Hindi na po ako magtatanong.
Pwede po ba na bigay yung pinag-
Mr. Chair, I think my colleague Attorney Manals did not get my point. I told his body a while ago that we have a data in our Director for Investigation and Preventive Management. The deaths and killings that happened from July 2016 to June 30, 2022.
Can you submit that to us?
Yes, and the idea, which I am not a part of it now, has this.
After kung
Hindi categorize lamang po na kasi ang binanggit po kanina sa data is 66% during his operation of PNP and 27%, 1,045 completed by the riding in tandem. So, can you kindly put that in your submission as well? Yung 27% that was mentioned by Mr. Joel Ariarte, di ba? Binanggit po ninyo that 1,045 riding in tandem was killed because of this.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will take note of that data coming from our invited sources.
Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Congressman Dan Fernandez, and we have Congressman Ako, please.
Mr. Chair, may I know if this could be the first and last hearing of this issue?
No, we are going to continue this hearing, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Even after the sonar.
May request, General Pakay.
Yes, we today will have the
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May request, General Pakay, who is presently the DIDM of the PNP. Yes, General Pakay, you are the present DIDM.
Yes, sir.
And you are the repository of all the incidents that would happen in this country.
That is correct.
Yes. Now, do you have a record of all 6,000 plus na sinasabi ni Congressman Colmenares na pagbasihan niya yung number of alleged extrajudicial killings?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
From 2016 up to 2022?
Yes.
Yes. Now, could you please submit to this committee for the second hearing the data where the 6,000 plus alleged extrajudicial killings occurred?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Halimbawa, ilan sa Metropolitan Manila, ilan sa Region 1? Kasi this is where we would know kung sino talaga dapat ang may invite dito eh. Hindi naman yung masasagot yung yung aking katanungan kung hindi nandito yung mga taong kailangan na o kung pwedeng sumagot doon sa mga tanong namin. Di ba?
We have the records.
You have. And you can, shall we say, submit to this committee the 6,000 plus incidents plus the places where they occurred.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Para mapinpoint natin kung saan lugar yung nangyari itong mga incident ito at malaman natin kung sino rin yung nag-imbestiga o hindi nag-imbestiga sa mga incident ito. And I would like to request also that this case was investigated by the police or by any law enforcement agency and the result of such investigation. Kung ang nangyari, nag-imbestiga, walang nangyari, cold case, brought to the CIDG. And next question, anong ginawa ng CIDG?
We will comply.
Can you please submit that on before the next hearing? To be scheduled by the chairman.
Yes, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dahil hindi naman nila masasagot yung katanungan natin. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, we'd like to call Congressman Castro for the
Ay, long last. At long last, Mr. Chair. Ay, kala po lang, Mr. Chair, no? Hindi lang po yung kay Chairman Alpalatok yung mga nag-request niya from the PNP no, station. Pati po yung kay Attorney Crissy. Attorney Crissy, di ba, you have all, sinabi mo rin na nag-request kayo sa mga police station noong mga report or incident report kung ano man yung nangyayari. Mga ilan po yun?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, I think I mentioned in particular to the case we are litigating right now in Caloocan, we tried to have the documents authenticated. We went to Caloocan, Sarandaan, and then the station in Narangay. All of these offices even refused to accept the letter request, saying that those who signed had already left the agency.
Yes, at pwede ba natin kuhanan ng Mr. Chair, ng written na document kung bakit hindi namin request. Hindi sinasagot yung request. Yung po sa ni-request ni...
We will submit that letter, Your Honor, but again, it was not even received.
Okay.
Not even received.
Yes, Your Honor, because they said, ay, wala naman dito na yung pumirma dyan. So, hindi nasabi yan.
Kasi nakikita natin, Mr. Chair, dun sa discussion natin yung EO2 ni dating Presidente Duterte, parang talagang sinelyuhan niya na, no? Yung investigation na hindi talaga mag-pursue ang any investigation because of this. Ito, no? Yung number 3 na exception. Okay? So, wala talaga. Hindi talaga mag-proceed. Kaya talagang mapipilitan ng pamilya na pumunta talaga sa ICC. Unless, Mr. Chair, ma-revoke talaga itong EO102, EO2, no, na nakalagay kasi dito, no, yung mga exception, no, investigation records, complied for law enforcement purposes or information which is written would be contained in such records. So, kahit na anong records, kahit na sino man po yung mag-imbestiga, kahit na yung ICC, because of this, EO2 ay walang mapuproceed na hustisya at pag-iimbestiga. Kaya nga, no wonder, Mr. Chair, yung ating mga kapulisan, very complacent, no? Wala na silang pakialam whether maimbestigahan niya o hindi. Imagine mo, in 2016 up to now, 52 cases lang yung naimbestigahan, 4 o 3 yung mga na-prosecute. How about itong ano na to, 6,200 plus? Statistics na lang ba ito, Mr. Chair? So kaya talagang may conclusion talaga, hanggat hindi ito na-repeal ni President Marcos Jr. na siya talagang dapat na mag-repeal nito, ay walang mapupusit talaga na investigation at hindi talaga makakakuha ng hustisya yung ating mga victims, no, ng extrajudicial killings during the war on drugs ni dating Presidente Duterte, Mr. Chair. So, former Secretary Guevara at saka si Attorney Neri, Mr. Chair.
So, Senator Guevara, can you please reply on that?
More specifically, Your Honor, on the removal of that particular exception.
Yes, so baka dapat, Mr. Chair, mapag-aralan talaga natin yung EO. Kasi itong particular na exception na ito, hanggat nandiyan yan, lagi na lang sabihin sa atin ng police, kung manghihingi tayo ng records, ay accepted, yan, kasama yan sa exemption ng FOI. So, tingin nyo, dapat tanggalin natin
Possible
yan.
po yan na consider for removal. Kasi yung ibang exceptions naman po, Your Honor, were actually based on existing laws and jurisprudence. Kaya po yun sa pag-consolidate ng mga exceptions to the FOI ay talagang may pinagbasihan naman po yan. Pero yun yung particular exception na yun na
access to records of ongoing investigations by the police. I am not too sure kung yan po ay nakabatay sa isang particular na existing law or jurisprudential rule. Kaya po, this may be a good subject for possible reconsideration.
Yes, thank you,
So, Jen,
Sergeant.
your thought about this now. Can we write the President a letter recommending for the removal of EO2?
Sa amin po ba manggagaling? Sa police?
Let's say no.
Oh, definitely you can do that, sir. Yeah.
Would you recommend?
It's a prerogative of the Congress po, and we may be consulted about it as a matter of fact. So I am not in a position to
you're
at any
consulted
time.
now.
Exactly. That's why that may be referred to us or to the DOJ for opinion. So let's cross the bridge when we get there, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah, Attorney, will you please reply to the query and the question of Congresswoman Castro?
Mr. Chair, if I may, just a quick interjection.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, the executive number 2 signed by the former president way back in 2016 actually states that the Department of Justice and the Office of the Solicitor General are hereby directed to prepare an inventory of such exemptions and submit the same to the Office of the President within 30 days. Our current Solgen, Mr. Chair, was a former Secretary of Justice. May I inquire from the Honorable Maynard Guevara, Mr. Chair, if he was indeed, or his office was indeed, part of crafting the exceptions?
Yes, that is correct, Your Honor. The DOJ then was involved in identifying what provisions under existing laws or what jurisprudential doctrines may be invoked or may be a basis for formulating the exceptions.
So in other words, Mr. Chair, the concern of the Honorable Castro can best be answered by our current Solgen, who was the former Secretary of Justice. Kasi yung pinag-uusapan dito tama ba ito? Ito ba ay kasama dun sa exceptions? But earlier, Solgen Maynard Guevara mentioned na malamang mukhang hindi yan dapat. So there's a problem. That's why I'm confused, because actually the exceptions, Mr. Chair, came from his office during the previous administration. In other words, the exceptions carried in Executive Order number 2 came from the former Secretary of Justice, who is now the current Solgen. So malamang, sir, you can actually inform us whether this exception that is being cited by the current PNP, the Chief of Police, is indeed an exception to Executive Order number 2, which was signed by the former president, which actually dictates your former office to have crafted the basis of all these exceptions.
Your Honor, we submitted what we believe were covered by existing laws and jurisprudential doctrines. But
so, Mr.
the
Chair,
finalization
yeah,
of
but
that
Mr. Chair, if I may,
was not ours.
Yeah, if I may, you mentioned you submitted. Well, among the basis for exceptions that you submitted, alin po doon ang na-carry?
There are quite a number of the exceptions because they're actually founded on existing laws.
So the issue at hand that's being cited with regards to this alleged extrajudicial killings, was it part of the exception that you submitted? Or hindi?
That I would not remember, Your Honor, because as I mentioned earlier, when we submitted what we drew from existing legislation and jurisprudential doctrines, the finalization of the executive order was done by Malacanang itself.
Yeah, but you did have a copy of that.
Yes, Your Honor, we had a copy.
So you know which ones were carried and which ones were not carried.
Some would be policy matters, in my
but
opinion.
Did they carry an exception that was not within the context of what you recommended?
Unless I am able to review the entire executive order.
So, Mr. Chair, maybe request the Solgen to review, because Executive Order number 2 categorically states, if I may, Section 4 exception, the Department of Justice is hereby directed to prepare an inventory of such exceptions and submit to the Office of the President. In other words, lahat ng mga exception na ito ay nanggaling po sa iyo, sir, nung ikaw ay Secretary of Justice.
Not necessarily, Your Honor.
So who recommended the exceptions?
That I am not sure, because the finalization was not done by the DOJ. We submitted what we were in our position to research and submit to what.
Mr. Chair, if I may, the finalization was made by the Office of the President. That is correct, because it's an executive order. And that's why, Mr. Chair, if I may, in the next hearing, may move that the former Executive Secretary be invited.
We will, Comsec, will please take note of that.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Pero balikan ko lang, no?
Before you have any word yet, Congresswoman, precisely why I said, what is your thought about this committee writing a letter to the President to scrap PO2? Because being executive order, pwede malakan yan. Therefore, the Congress cannot do anything about it. That Malacanang should scrap it.
But Mr. Chair, if I may, pasensya na po, balikan po natin yung sinabi ko kanina. Nakasaad sa executive order na ang magre-recommend ng mga exception na ito ay ang Secretary of Justice. Who during that time was Secretary Guevara. Ngayon, ang sinasabi ni Secretary Guevara, hindi niya matandaan alin yung na-carry o alin yung hindi. But the point here is not what was not carried. The point here is that all those exceptions came from your office because the executive order is very clear. You were the official or your office was the one who will recommend exceptions to executive order number 2. That's why, Mr. Chair, I'm asking this just for clarity kasi baka mahirap kasi maikot ito. Because the basis of all those exceptions, that specifically the legal basis of all those exceptions, actually emanated from Secretary Guevara. So he can now enlighten us whether those exceptions ay nasabahan pa na hindi dapat, kailangan bang tanggalin yung iba doon, or were there directives to include something that was not supposed to be included, or, Mr. Chair, more importantly, baka naman ginagamit yung Executive Order number 2 to cite a reason which is non-existent in the first place.
Your Honor, I have already clarified na ang binigay ng DOJ ay yung back up by existing laws and jurisprudence. Now, I would like to believe na in the crafting of the final crafting of EO number 2, baka mayroong mga policy considerations that were taken into account. Kasi at the time,
so, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, other offices can actually... No, it's just a question, Mr. Chair, with due courtesy, no? So, merong mga ibang nagpasok, despite the fact that the executive order says it's the Secretary of Justice who will give a list of exceptions, ibig sabihin merong ibang opisina na nakialam, which is actually contrary to executive order number 2.
As you correctly pointed out, it was the Department of Justice and the Office of the Solicitor General who were requested to provide input. At that time, I was the Secretary of Justice, but I was not the Solicitor General. So it is possible, Your Honor, that it may also have come from the OSG or from other government agencies na nag-volunteer to submit recommendations for exceptions.
For the particular point of concern, Mr. Chair, of the Honorable Castro, earlier the other colleagues and the other resource person, hindi po ito nanggaling sa Secretary of Justice.
I cannot recall exactly, Your Honor, pardon me, but we'll have to refer back to our record to find out exactly what were submitted by the Department of Justice and the corresponding legal basis for such recommendation. I apologize that I cannot give a very categorical answer to what is a legal basis for that particular exclusion. It seems to me that it's more of a policy consideration rather than an actual legal prohibition or exception.
So in other words, Mr. Chair, kaya ko po yan naitanong because Executive Order number 2 has been pictured as an obstacle to all these investigations. Now we want to be clear, una, tama ba yung pag-cite ng Executive Order number 2? Or baka pangalawa, ginagamit kunyari yung Executive Order number 2, pero hindi naman pala siya dapat gamitin sa ganyang mga bagay. Basically, that's my only concern, of course, with due respect to Secretary Guevara. So, Mr. Chair, allow me to expand my motion that for the next hearing, we also invite the former Solgen. Para maliwanagan, because if the DOJ Secretary and the former Solgen says and the former ES says that is not the context of Executive Order number 2, then we don't have a problem. Then the current President does not have to reverse anything. Kasi baka mamaya, hinihingi yung mga bagay na hindi naman pala nasa kamay ng ating Presidente ngayon, kundi nasa kamay ng pag-interpret ng isang executive order. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I want to invite the former Soldier. I think he's incapacitated right now. Am I right?
I have no personal knowledge about that, Chairman. I'm sorry.
Your motion is clarification, Mr. Chair. Your motion is Representative Yarin is to invite
the former Soldier and the former Secretary of Justice. Former ES. This is Midantaya. Okay. Palagay ko, we will try with the Soldier, former Soldier, because I think he's kind of incapacitated now. But we'll try that. But perhaps he could be able to send his deputy to come and explain that.
Or Mr. Chair, baka by Zoom. I'm not really privy about Solgen, baka by Zoom. Basically, the context here, Mr. Chair, kanina pa kasi natin naririnig na hindi nag-move forward yung investigasyon dahil sa Executive Order number 2. We went further in saying that it is in the hands now of the current President to amend that. Pero balikan po natin, baka naman yung pag-cite ng Executive Order number 2 is not actually in order. And we will get that information from the hands who crafted and contributed to the execution and formulation of Executive Order number 2.
Your Honor, if I may say something about that.
Yes.
There were times that the Department of Justice requested also certain information from the Philippine National Police. And in those situations, we were confronted with likewise a reluctance to provide information, but it was never Executive Order number 2 that was invoked by the PNP. It was the Data Privacy Law that was invoked by the PNP in somehow refusing, if not outrightly declining to provide information. Of course, we disagree with that because it's another government agency conducting an investigation which is asking for that information. But just to clarify your point, Your Honor, that it has never been the reason of the PNP to invoke EO number 2 in refusing to provide information. It was never mentioned to us. It was all about the Data Privacy Law. That was the main reason for their reluctance in providing information.
Yes, Tony Conti.
Mr. Chair, if I may just raise for the information of the body that the concept of confidentiality of drug war records has been subject of a Supreme Court case, Your Honor, the Almora case, GR number 234359. This was a question 2018, and I believe it would involve one of our resource persons today. Then Director General Albayalde refused to release records about the drug war on the basis of, and this is actually number 2 of EO2, MC Memorandum Circular number 15. Although, I mean, yes, to be precise about it, the EO itself, which is the regime of freedom of information, and the exceptions were not specifically stated, but the concept or principle of national security was raised in the case. Initially, the police refused to release the documents because They said that these documents involve state secrets affecting national security. Fortunately, the Supreme Court ruled otherwise. And therefore, I believe there has been about 7,000 case records or incidents released to counsels in the case of Almora, and are in possession of some groups already, Your Honor.
Would General Abelarde please reply to the statement of Dr. Conti?
Well, as stated, Mr. Chairman, the information was already shared after the Supreme Court ruling. So, kung meron pong specifically order coming from the courts, then definitely yung PNP po magbibigay ng documents.
So, Attorney Neri, there's no more need for the E02,
I think so, Mr. Chair. In fact, yes, Mr. Chair.
That will only be used.
Yes, in fact, it was used with the CHR. It may not have been used with the DOJ, but it was used with the CHR.
If we may request within this committee for the President to scrap the E02, perhaps the recommendation of Sultan Guevara would strengthen our
Yes. Actually, Mr. Chair, if I may, the Constitution is very clear. Freedom of information and access to all citizens, unless upon limitation by law. There's no law that limits it. So if there's an executive order, so dapat
anyway, we have a law already to make that a basis rather than the
what law, Mr. Chair? Wala, EO lang to, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Your Honor, that is why early on during the Duterte administration, that matter of freedom of information by way of an executive order was immediately conceived, because we were hoping that Congress would immediately enact the the freedom of information law. But
information, Secretary Guevara, that almost became a law.
Yes, I know.
During my time, but I was the one that sponsored it.
Yeah, right. Yes. Kaya po inunahan na po namin, at least with respect to the executive department, kasi ganun naman po yung binibigay na importansya ng administration sa freedom of information. Kaya number 2 kagad yung EO na yun eh. Kaya nga lamang po, ang coverage niya ay sa executive department lamang, kaya ho by executive order, dahil hinihintay po namin yung batas ng Kongreso.
Well, Mr. Chair, yung iba kasi matanong ko natanong na, yun ang pinakamahalagang point ko po. In aid of legislation, mas scrap talaga itong EO na ito, kasi nakikita ko rin, hindi lang sa war on drugs and other crimes. Kasi kung mananatili itong EO na ito na hindi makaka-access, kung hindi gumagana yung mga pulis, hindi gumagana yung ating korte, so wala pupuntahan yung ating mga kababayan na nagsisik ng justice kung nandito itong provision na ito o kung mali man yung interpretation ng mga pulis or kung sino man. Kaya talagang dapat na maalis to, Mr. Chair. So, yun na po, Mr. Chair, yun lang yung aking question.
Salamat po. Yes, General.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, on the part of the PNP, sir, I just would like to inform this August body that sometimes August 2017, the DIDM have issued a memorandum regarding these matters when it comes to providing documents as well as information, and specific in the title is providing such to the Commission on Human Rights. And following month, our office, the PNP Human Rights Affairs Office, issued another advisory. And I think through our office again, we will issue another advisory regarding this matter. Meron na po yan siya existing. And I would like also to take this advantage to inform this August body that our office, the PNP HRAO, is already trying its best to remedy this. Actually, we have an ceremonial signing for the MOU between the CHR last year regarding data sharing, sir. And we will be having another one because of the changes in the PNP leadership. Our legal office, as well as the legal division of the CHR, have already come up and reviewed the MOU, and now it's within the office of the PNP to address all these matters regarding data sharing.
I believe that, General, your office could be able to work in tandem with the CHR on this.
We've been, sir, that's why we have the MOU, Mr. Chair.
MOU signing.
Yes, sir. We will be...
What is the...
it's all about data sharing, Mr. Chair.
The sharing of information. Andun ba yun?
No, Mr. Chair, earlier, the good officer mentioned guidelines. There are existing, asensya na po, yung kanina nasabi mo, there are existing guidelines or?
Yes, sir. The DIBM research a while ago, August 22 or basta that's August 2017.
What does the memo contain?
The title of the memo is about the providing informations, data, especially for the Commission on Human Rights.
In other words, wala nang humaharang para i-share nyo ang mga dokumento at informasyon na ito sa Commission on Human Rights. Tama?
Supposedly, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Chair, with that, may we request the good resource person to furnish this committee a copy of those memorandums as mentioned earlier, Mr. Chair. So,
yes, Mr. King.
Did you do that? Yes. Thank you. Mr. Chair, yes,
I would just like to take advantage of the presence of our Solicitor General. Executive Order number 2 says that one of the exceptions would be all information that would compromise law enforcement operations. Could you please define the jurisdiction of this exception? Sir?
It seems to me that it's a catch-all phrase, Your Honor. As I said, I believe that EO number 2 contained certain exceptions, not only those that are based on actually existing laws and jurisprudence, but might have also included some policy considerations. So if that statement says an exception or an exclusion regarding information that, if revealed, may compromise an ongoing investigation, I believe that policy consideration, Your Honor, and whether it is something that is reasonable or not. Probably, in the opinion of the Executive Department, that is a reasonable exception if divulging vital information would compromise an existing investigation, especially if it's a major one. But if it's something that may, for some people, pose as a violation of their right to information, then probably only the courts may say whether such an exception is acceptable or not from a legal standpoint.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, sir. May I ask the representative of the Chief PNP? May I know, under Executive Order number 2, who would be the person responsible to determine the applicability of the exceptions? Mr. Chair, so that we'll save time. I would just like to read Section 6 of Executive Order Number 2. Application and interpretation. The first sentence says many things. There shall be a legal presumption in favor of access to information, public records, and official records. No request for information shall be denied unless it clearly falls under any of the exceptions listed in the inventory or updated inventory of exceptions circularized by the Office of the President as provided for in Section 4 hereof. The determination of the applicability of any of the exceptions to the request shall be the responsibility of the head of office, which has custody or control of the information, public record or official record, or of the responsible central or field officer duly designated by him in writing. In making such determination, the head of office or his designated officer shall exercise reasonable diligence to ensure that no exception shall be used or availed of to deny any request for information or access to public records or official records if the denial is intended primarily and purposely to cover up a crime, wrongdoing, graft, or corruption. No, in the communications made by different agencies of government to the Philippine National Police, did you apply this when you denied the request for information?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, sir, because I think I'm not in the proper person to answer that because never that in my more than 30 years in service denied any request from the city.
Mr. Chair, the answer of the good gentleman is that we do not have the right persons who will be able to answer these questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Your Honor, with your permission, I just would like to clarify the statement of General Baldeo earlier regarding the memorandum issued in July 2017. I think there was a confusion because that memorandum was a directive to all police officers to inform and seek clearance from the national headquarters